G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On Loose Lines. Now, I think everything's working okay. Every now and then, yep, we seem to be good. Got that going on as well. So yeah, big show tonight because we don't have the Wednesday night show. So things are going to change just a wee bit with the this week because I'll be going to be in New Zealand for the NZB weanling sale that is on Thursday. Of course, most of the content will come out, so coming out from me anyway. I'll be there tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, the sale hots up. There'll be a parade on Wednesday, and all going well. We'll be won't be far away. Bugger. Tried to get something else up and organised and didn't have it done. Just forgot all about that. So yeah. So anyway, make sure you're there for the winter, well, for the NZB weanling sales. Go to nzb.co.nz and you'll be able to follow the links to that to be able to get across all of that with the team across there. Get in touch with Cam Bray and everyone else at nzb.standardbred.co.nz. So plenty of trotters on offer. As I said, this is a hybrid show tonight. There's a little bit of a few other things happening going on, but yeah, so we're going to change it up a little bit as well. Nutrien, great supporters of mine as well. They've got, as you can see right there, 37 weanlings, 15 yearlings, 35 or 35 racehorses, and 130 mares in their Winter Woolies sale, which is on now. June 3 to 6 is when they go online and sell, and we'll be going live with that. That won't be too far away, so make sure you go there. They are there. There's pictures, videos going up. Get in touch with Mark Barton or Gemma Smallman. Mark Barton's phone number is just going to scroll across the bottom there, 0419 488 256, and Gemma's will follow very, very shortly. So make sure you get in touch with those guys as well with the Winter Woolies, and I will be cracking down on that next week as well once we get going from there. Anthony Butt's watching. Anthony Butt's going to be my special guest in a minute as well. Always supported by Barrastock. They're the only core fleet. They're actually not. I do have a green one down there, but I just keep running out of time to get that one up and done. So we will get it done at some point of time as well. The Barrastock one going through there. Harass the Trotters, great supporters of Campbell's Comments. Huge roster of horses, of course, the breeders of Just Believe. So make sure you support Harass the Trotters. Some exciting initiatives about to happen there. A few things were alluded to me. So yeah, so I'm well and truly aware of a couple of things coming up, but definitely not all of them. People try to keep things a little bit quiet, so just checking to make sure the audio is okay. So make sure you follow those guys. And then of course Woodlands got their hat on as well because they're selling 41 weanlings and a yearling in this week's NZB National Weanling Sale held at Karaka. So make sure you get in touch with the team there, and Mark Hughes will be on with me a little bit later on going forward. I do have a thing with Karaka, so make sure if you want to get in touch with the team at Karaka and stay if you are going across there. It's a beautiful place to stay, a lot of fun. It's a great venue to be at when you're over there and enjoying the festivities of what Karaka is about. So much history, such a great smell. It's one of those questions. I've got a heap of questions down for Anthony, but that's actually not one of those as well. Of course, we had the passing of Majestic Mountain last week as well, which was sad for Phil Williamson and the crew, and Ants actually drove him at one stage, so it will be interesting to get his thoughts on what sort of horse he was as well. So Majestic Man, I said Majestic Mountain, I apologise for that, and got that one wrong as well. So what I do need to do, I quite regularly, anyone watches either of the shows know that I don't connect to the audio mixer before I start to ring people. Cody Winnell, hello to you, Codes. Good to see you. Saw a few Facebook posts the other day. Gentleman where he works is 101 years old. Great innings. Not sure I'll live that long. Don't know. Story for another day. But anyway, hello to you, Codes, and good to see you. We'll get Anthony Butt on, hopefully. I'm going to get him on here now, and we'll have a good chat to answer about a few things. So. Why is that not working? It's telling me it's connected, but it's not coming through it. Uh-oh, have an issue. How am I going to get around this one? Why do I have an issue? Hang on, Ants, I'll ring you back in a sec, mate. Did have this issue yesterday. Maybe I connected to the wrong one. Hang on a sec. What did I connect to? Says we're connected to that. Why is that not playing? It should be playing through that. Why did that not play through that? Frustrations of these sorts of things. Sometimes it's set to try us. I'll get in trouble for copyright if I put anything else up. So you're going to hear a video of myself if I can get it to play anything at all. Not sure why that's not playing. It should be playing and it's not playing. It's telling me it's connected, but it's not outputting anything. It's turned off. I can't hear it. Modern technology, seriously. Seriously, what have I done here? Yep, it should be right. Bluetooth input will not be included in the output. Why is that not working?
Right, don't worry about off the cuff.
Right, I did something then and we got it to work. Don't know, sorry about that. Good show so far. People who are going on. Thanks, Codes. Sorry about that. I'm very, very frustrated, but we should be right to go now, I think. Hopefully, yes.
Hey, Paul.
Very good, mate. Sorry about all that. I don't know. I hate technology sometimes. I don't touch it. I don't do anything to it, and it decided it wouldn't work for me today. So anyway, and I don't even know what I'm doing there now. But good to have you on. Thank you very much for joining me, Ants.
No, pleasure, Paul. Yep.
Plenty to discuss. There's a lot going on right across the board, actually, everywhere. But it was good to hear you the other day discussing with Gareth Hall about the new, I suppose, initiatives that HRV are implementing, if you like, and going to change up for the new racing calendar, how this is going to look and a few of the other things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's been a work in progress from the board and that kind of thing. So it's just the thing just got to happen. We've got to make the industry more profitable, and and that in turn increases returns to the participants.
Yeah, and I think that's the exciting part about this. This is there's been a lot of, I suppose, data and stuff, research done on these to more or less encourage, I suppose, people to understand what's going on. But I suppose encourage is the wrong word, but get people thinking and understand why these changes are coming and what they will mean for the industry.
Yeah, well, turnover's the key, Paul, and as we know that we've got to maximise the fields and maximise turnover, and that it's proven by the data that we get the best results on the best tracks, with full fields. So we've got some great tracks around Victoria and some not so great, and obviously punters appreciate the ones that the major centres, and they get more on it.
Yeah, so just on that answer, and I think this is going to be one of those long conversations. You just said then it's got some great tracks here in Victoria and some not so great. You're a Kiwi at heart. You love New Zealand and all the rest. It's a similar thing that you have in New Zealand, but we don't want to lose these tracks. And it's my belief no tracks are closing down. We don't want to lose any of these tracks, and they definitely serve the purpose, and they have so much history and so much intrigue. But we're also in a competitive world where there's so many people trying to make a living out of this game that we have to be realistic about what we do.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. As I said, some of these country tracks, they have great days, the country cup days, and places like Birchip and Borton, Gunbow and that kind of thing. So we've got to encourage them to stay and really put their emphasis into their cup days and that kind of thing. And some of the other tracks that probably race a bit more, they'll be racing a bit less. But I think it's important we race at the major centres and where the turnovers are highest.
Yeah, it's not locked in stone, but effectively there's going to be the 5 main race nights are going to pretty much have 5 consistent, or I think 7 consistent race clubs racing at those meetings. That's basically the crux of it, isn't it, Ants? Without locking everything into stone.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. That's the way I've sort of read it, that, they're going to race more consistently, on the same night of the week every week, so that, the punters, they go to the pub on a, say, Wednesday night, they'll see Bendigo or Shepparton or whatever track is racing that night every Wednesday. So they'll get to recognise the horses and the drivers and that kind of thing. They're racing there every week. So that should, add a bit more consistency. And as I said, that should drive higher turnover, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. That's exactly what we want. We want people to be betting on it and things like that. Bernie Rings actually put a comment in there saying about Redcliffe. We will touch on that. It's actually half hidden out because of your surname, Ants, actually. But when you write those sort of things, Facebook get a bit testy. So we might not get too many comments where they show up. That consistency, though, can work so many different ways. Like you said there before, if you go to a pub on a Wednesday night, you might have a family night on a Wednesday night. So you pretty much put a line through wherever those meetings are now. But you're not going to miss out on your favourite horses because you're going to say, rightio, well, my horses race at Terang. They're not racing there on a Wednesday night. So the Joe Blow is going to be able to almost, set aside some time where they're going to be able to, get there and actually enjoy harness racing and then have other times to their family life. Like without the participants, this is just a person at home or the pub, sitting in the pub, like you said, and they'll know when they can go there. They're going to know what's on.
Yeah, definitely, Paul. And, I think the question's being asked of quite a few of us at these meetings, where are we racing tonight in Victoria? And unless we actually look it up, half the time we don't know what's on, because it's a different track's racing a different night. And so you don't know where you are half the time.
Conversely, Redcliffe, we know they race Friday nights. I know Albion Park race Tuesday, then Redcliffe race, Wednesday, Thursday, then back to Albion Park Friday and Saturday, and then they either go to Marburg or occasionally they'll go back to Redcliffe on that Sunday. They know what they're doing. In New South Wales, always Menangle on the Tuesday, Bathurst on the Wednesday, Penrith on the Thursday when they do race, and then you get your Newcastles on the Friday night and then back to Menangle. But there is also extras. They're getting more and more meetings because it actually works. The one thing about the problem they're having in New South Wales all of a sudden is they're having double ups on a lot of these tracks because it works and their product's growing so exponentially in New South Wales. It's outstanding. I'm not saying this is the only reason behind it, but it's got to be so good for participants when they move to those areas to know where they're going to base themselves when they're going to be racing.
Yeah, exactly, Paul. And, I sort of liken it a little bit to our regional racing that came in during COVID, the track where everyone was racing just in their own area. And it'll be a little bit like that to the same extent, with also the proviso that you can go anywhere, anytime if you want to travel. So, the guys say in Shepparton, it's a pretty big area now, Shepparton, with a lot of horses trained out there. They're going to have, Bendigo, Shepparton and Kilmore racing like 3 times a week, all within, a reasonable travelling distance. So, and then, then they've got the option of coming to Belton on a Saturday night if they want. So, so it's going to be good for everybody, I think.
Yeah, and the other side of it is, and we'll touch on the participants as well, but while you're talking about that too, we're coming into winter right now, Ants. The roads are dark, they're cold, they're wet. Middle of June, July, a lot of people don't want to be racing. We've changed it so all our feature racing's in the summer carnival, so you can tip your teams out. You're also able to then be able to, like you say, regional race. I can race at Bendigo. And like we've gone into trials tonight, I don't have to panic about Marie going, 3 hours down the road. Is she going to be able to get home or not? Simply because of the change. She'll be racing at Bendigo. It's 35 minutes, 30 minutes for us in and out. So, yeah, it's one of those things. I think it's got so much upside to it.
Yeah, I do too, Paul. Yeah, as you said, we've got to make change. If we don't make change, we're not going to have an industry in 5 or 10 years. So I know there's going to be, certain people and certain clubs, a little bit upset by it, but we've got to look at the bigger picture and, try to cater for everybody. As you said before, no club is getting closed down, and, the ones that do race, once or twice a year, it's really going to give them a chance to focus on that meeting and really promote it. And, as we know, those country cups on a Sunday, around the state are hugely popular. So, I think it's just going to work really good for everybody.
Yep, and it gives people something to look forward to as well when they are, like you said there before, Gumbauer. They'll be able to go to Gumbauer. They'll be able to, look forward to it, a month, 2 months out. Gumbauer will be able to do something different with that day, knowing that, that's going to be their one, maybe 2 times they're going to be able to do it and build on it. And this is one of the things. This is not the golden chalice, if you like. This is not going to be the be-all and end-all answer for everything. This is part of the parcel to try and grow our industry.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. It's really been an eye-opener for me since I've been president, getting into these meetings and finding out the sort of nitty-gritty of the industry. And there's, as you said, there's no silver bullet. One thing's not going to fix the industry, but it's going to be a combination of many that hopefully we, brings it all together and gets us back into profit and gives us a, long, sustainable industry for the future.
Which is what we need. And, we don't like, a lot of people don't like change, Ants, but it is inevitable because the world's changing. People are betting less on our product. It's a reality. They're betting less on the racing product, which is scary. It's not just harness racing that they're not betting on. The greyhounds, all these other industries are having a downturn as well. They're betting more on basketball and kids riding skateboards than what they are now on horses. So we need to change and evolve and actually be ready to, try and foresee our future.
Yeah, well, that's, you did right, Paul. As I said, we all love to get back to the old showgrounds days when there were 20 and 30,000 people every week. But, that's just not reality anymore. And we're basically a TV sport, and, we do get some good crowds, certain times a year for the bigger races. But, we're basically on TV 7 days and nights a week, and, that's our bread and butter. So it's just the way of the world.
And if I can say one thing, I think that's one thing people need to be realised, especially the participants and people out there. Get on the front foot and present as a TV, present your horses and be aware that, majority of the eyes now are on TVs. You can get close-ups with the cameras, and there's a good way we can grow our sport. We just got to be smart about how we actually, how we do it and grow it that way.
Yeah, well, there's so many things we can do, Paul, and as I said, it's a fantastic sport. A lot of families involved. A lot of people could be hands-on with a harness horse, which they can't say with a galloper. So, yeah, we've got a lot of advantages. So we just got to grow it, as they put on the right product and make the racing exciting.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting. New Zealand have done a similar thing. Cambridge, Crystal Hackett's on there. They're going to race on a Tuesday night. 3-4 years ago, Ants, if any, people had said to the Kiwis, they'll race Cambridge every Tuesday night, they would have been laughed at.
Yes, but Paul, and I think Eddie's was the same. They're going to have a midweek meeting as extra. So, it's great for New Zealand. They've, it's always been a battle. Wherever you live, you're probably only racing once or twice a week. So it's going to give a bit more of the bread and butter horses a chance to win every week, and that creates income for trainers and drivers and owners. So it's good for everybody.
It also just changes a few things, doesn't it? Because it gives the Kiwis a reason to keep some of these horses too, because there will be more races, and probably more races a few of these horses could have won. So
yeah, definitely. And with the new rating system, whether you love it or hate it, it does prolong horses' careers. They can go up and down the system, basically forever. Once upon a time they'd win 2, 3, 4 races and be on their marks, and you'd have to get rid of them. But now with this rating system, it does cater really well for the lower grade horses. So, since they don't have a life expectancy anymore, they can just go up and down the system as long as they like, really.
Yeah. Are you how's the best way to put this? Are you looking forward to this, Ants, or are you excited about this new chapter that's going to come? I mean, we can't say everything that you and I both know what is going to be implemented going forward, but where is your excitement level about this new racing calendar?
Well, I think that something just has to be done, Paul. And, I think it's going to be good. It's going to make probably life easier for the participants. And, as I said, I don't think we've got any choice in the matter. So we've just got to embrace it. And, but I think, there's a lot of positives, I think. And hopefully, it all gets back to turnover. It's just gold. So we've got to get it as high as we can. And if that means racing at the major tracks more, so be it.
Yep, no, totally agree. And I'm looking forward to it. There's so many benefits to it. We can embrace racing in New Zealand. We can embrace racing in each other state as well, because everyone's going to say, Wednesday night the trots are at Bathurst, Redcliffe, Bunbury. They race every Wednesday night, and then Victoria will have a designated day wherever that is. We'll say it's Oyen just to keep everyone happy, but it won't be. But at least everyone's going to know every Wednesday night. They'll be able to sit down and watch the trots from there, or they'll know they don't have to sit down and watch the trots because they don't want to watch them from those venues.
Yeah, that's right. And as I said to you today, Paul, when I spoke, I said the amount of times we get in the car to go to the races and we double check and am I down at Bendigo tonight or Geelong tonight, I've always had a phobia of going to the wrong track, but at least this way it shouldn't happen.
No, definitely not. It was Michael Walker, wasn't it? The jockey famously went to the wrong track when he first came over. I was pretty sure he went to he might have gone to Sandown instead of Flemington or somewhere like that. He rocked up and he thought, oh, I'm in trouble here, because there was no one there. There was no one there. So go from there. You are president of the trainers and drivers. I've got a heap of questions to ask you and talk about. We won't talk about those, but I encourage anyone to get involved. Firstly, Bev Williamson is actually watching. I said there before, Ants, about Majestic Man passing away at the start of the show. Tragically, unfortunately, a paddock accident, totally innocuous, but a horse you were associated with. He was a ripper horse. He'll never be remembered as one of the out-and-out champions of our industry, but he was a great horse, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, Paul. He came over and stayed with us with Brandwood during COVID, where Brandwood had to come for 2 or 3 months. So, we had a lot of fun. He had a lot of success with the horse. He won all those Group 1s and had a, magnificent sort of campaign. And then the next year, Phil sent him back to me and Sonia and I for the end of the Dominions, because that was right when COVID was really bad. No one could travel. So we campaigned him at the end of the Dominions, and he sort of had a couple of hiccups before he came over, and we catched him up, and he ran second in the final to Mary Louie, and it was a great race. Then I think he got a second in the Group 1 at Bendigo. Yep. And then he saw him just tapered off. And then he come back the next year and won another Group 1, I think, or another major race. So he's just one of those horses. He really suited the Aussie style of racing with his gate speed and his manners, and he could get around those little tracks, get around the corners like a greyhound. So he's such a cool horse. And, just, really sad to see what happened, because he only just recently been retired. He deserved a long and healthy retirement. But as we know, when you're dealing with horses, anything can happen. And but he'll be looked back fondly, just being a really super neat horse.
Yeah, and his last campaign, he was running 5th and 4ths, chasing terrific horses. He was retired, but he probably still could have continued racing. I'm glad that they didn't in a way, but he's definitely still could have continued racing. But I think he won 20. Or he did win 24 races, 29 seconds. I'm sure Bev and Phil would have liked a few more of those on the win board. But $855,000 in stakes, and winning on both everywhere, which I think is a testament to the horse, and race at the highest level. He races a 2-year-old, and I think he was he 2014, so he was 10 years old when he was retired. So an amazing record.
Yeah, and he, run second and 2 in the Dominion final. Not many horses do that. So
no,
he'll be looked back on as, one of the really good horses. And, I'm sure the Williamsons will really miss him, because, he's part of the family. And when you have horses that long and you train them, away from home, and one-on-one with them, you really get attached to them. So it would have been a sad day for them last week.
No, definitely. Anthony Port, and I reckon it's Anthony Portelli, have a question for Ants. Why aren't there any programming? Why aren't they programming the races for the whole year, not just 2 months for 2 months only? Are you happy to answer that one, Ants?
Yeah, I'm happy. I don't know why, but my personal opinion, they should have all the feature races programmed for the year, and but I still think they should think on their feet a little bit for the rest of the races, the run-of-the-mill races, because horses and groups of horses come and go. You might have a certain days of the year, might have a group of 3-4 mares, that are going to create a race, every week or every second week, and then 6 months later there might be none around. So you've sort of got to cater for the pool that's around, and they see that by the nomination. They might call for a maiden trot or something, get 30 nominations, so they know then that they've got to program more of them. So I think it's really hard if you lock yourself into a 12-month program. So I think, I've been a little bit disappointed in the programming and that lately, and hopefully it's going to improve in the near future. So I think with, I think some of the programs we've seen in the last few weeks have left a little bit to be desired.
Yep. And I think that's a bit like anything. I think sometimes that's our training, our driving ants as well. Sometimes we have bad patches and that, and just got to learn from them.
Yeah, and there's new staff in the pool, so they'll take a wee while to get the hang of it. But it's vitally important because we've got to program the right races to ensure full fields and that all horses are getting a run regularly. There's nothing worse than having a horse in a second grade and there's no race for 3 or 4 weeks. So
yep.
That's not for anybody. So I think that's why they've got to think on their feet a little bit and not be too locked in and have the ability to, when they see big nominations for a second grade, that they've got to realise that they need more of those races.
It's one of those things too with this new calendar too. It'd probably be a bit easier for them to program for that, if you like. That they might see a heap of 2-year-olds trialling at Shep, so they say, right, the next couple of Tuesday nights we'll run 2-year-olds at Shep because there's 40 2-year-olds trialling over there. Then there might be none trialling at Ballarat, which is probably wrong. It probably should be the other way around. But I hope my point's, it'll be a lot easier for them guys to say, rightio, Thursdays we need to put a couple of 2-year-olds on. Or Tuesdays or whenever it is when they're racing at those tracks, but then they can target that. So then if Anthony rings up and says to him, when's there going to be a 2-year-old, look, we're well and truly aware there'll be a couple on the next couple of Thursdays or something along those lines. So I think the whole changing of things could make things a lot easier.
Yeah, I think so, Paul. And it's hard to please everybody because, some people plan a week or 2 ahead. Some people plan 3 months ahead, So it's hard to please everyone. So I think they just use a bit of common sense and things like that. And, I keep going back to it, like turnover and full fields are just so important for us. So they've got to ensure that the conditions are right on the races and that the programming's right. And, as I said, we're maximising our horses.
I will say one thing and I don't know your opinion on this, Ants. I get frustrated myself though when a lot of people aren't prepared to race a horse out of their class, simply they'll just say, oh yeah, but he's like he's a 50 rater and it's a 51 to 55. Like sometimes people say there's no races for their horses. There are if you go up. You still don't do an extra class and things along those lines. There are other options sometimes. People just want that dead set race for that class. That's one thing I do find frustrating.
Yeah, you're right, Paul. And, there's different ways of doing it. I see this week at Ballarat, they've got a meeting where the bands are really narrow, and I think it's good. They've got a 50 to 52 or something like that, with only 2 or 3 rating points each race. So I think that's worth trying sometimes. And I think there's a bit of a call for maybe sort of, yeah.
Bless you.
Like an open nomination sort of thing where Greg Gangle spoke to us about it the other day where, say on a Bendigo meeting on a Thursday or whatever, we're not going to race, like just, have 2 codes, one up to 59 and say one from 50 to 70, say, and then call for nomination for that. And, you might get 6 or 7 races out of those nominations, pick it on either ratings or lifetime wins or stake money won last 5 starts or something like that. I think it'll be good because it ensure that, like, the trainers with a few horses, they can nominate a team for the one meeting instead of having to take one here and one there and that kind of thing. So, I think that's got a little bit of a future as well. I think it'll just take a little bit of education for trainers to get their heads around it. Knowing, they've got to learn that, the race is not going to be between 50 and 70. It's going to be, the first one might be 50 to 54, and the second one might be 50 to 55 to 59, So
yeah, traditionally
it'll just take a little bit of education for everybody to work it out. But I think it's got potential to, and what it will do is ensure full fields because they'll just pick, 12 horses in each race, hopefully like for like horses.
Yeah, I'll get to your question in a second, Tony, please. I quite like that idea, especially maybe winter time, like you said before about that regional racing as well. And it's like maybe have a month, or maybe not even a month, maybe just like a week of it where people don't have to travel. You can just go to the closest track, so you might be within an hour of the closest track, and you nominate your horses. And if you draw bad, it means you're going against horses that are weaker than you. If you draw good, you're going against horses that are sort of better than you. But it's done on your points and where you are, and it definitely could be exciting. The best part about that, though, you would have full fields. That's the one thing about it.
Yeah, exactly. I experienced a little bit when I was in Sydney. They had that on a Saturday night. Once you'd won you sort of got tucked in a pool, and they'd probably normally get 3 races out of it. And you would just go up and down the system.
Yep.
You might, if you'd won a couple, you might be in the higher grade, but if you weren't competitive of that, you'd go around once or twice and you'd be back in the next grade where you could win. So I thought it went really well up there, and it was really easy with the 10 across the front. Using preferential draw. A little bit different here with the second rise, but I'm sure it could still work. So, but again, we'll just take trainers to get their head around it, and there is a bit of opposition because some people like to pick their races, and we all like to pick the weakest race for our horse, and it's not always possible. So
No,
yeah, as I said, they'll listen to full fields all night.
Yeah, but people don't like working horses in the middle of winter either. So I mean, if you've got your horses in there at that time, maybe it'll work for those sort of horses. It's one of those. Yeah, you've got to think about it, I think.
Yeah, no, you said one week you might strike a strong field. You just have to cop it, and the next week you'll get a weak field.
Yep.
So it's just a little bit of the luck of the draw, but just depends on who else is nominated, that kind of thing. But no, I think it's I think it's got potential.
You get a good draw and you get a bad draw, and those things definitely do happen. Yeah. So please, any other questions with Ant while he's on? Please feel free. Hughesy's going to be on it a little bit later on. He was having tea, so I'm not worried about that. Bernie Ring of Fire. That's at Redcliffe. We'll get on the Redcliffe in a sec. Tony Jackson, Take a Moment and Lyle Creek, 2 mile race. Who are you driving, Ants? Because this is a good question to my next question. So who would you drive out of those two, mate?
Lyle Creek. He was just an out and out champion, and so was Take a Moment. Take a Moment's a great horse, and they were sort of 2 totally different horses. The Lyle Creek was just so big and strong and magnificent stayer, and head speed too. But Take a Moment was more, a modern day trotter. He was beautifully bred and had a beautiful gait, and I remember he could get around Mooneyville, get around the last corner like a greyhound, and but I think just the toughness, I think Lyle Creek would beat him most days.
Well, what was Lyle Creek's greatest strength? Because he's made the press a bit lately. What was his greatest strength, Ants?
Well, he was just better than anything else at the time, Paul. He was a great stayer, and he probably did lack a little bit of speed, and he sort of come to him later. He did a couple of times I did set him up, and he would come out and just blow them away as well. So it's not as he didn't have speed, but he was just, because he was the best horse, I had to drive him like the best horse. And 9 times out of 10, then involved by the leading or going around Sydney Park. But what he would do, like I would get into the back straight, and I would just go flat out down the back straight, and he'd take the speed out of everything else and outstay them. Whereas Take a Moment, sort of had to still drive the race with him. And so, yeah, but 2 great horses, and probably pretty lucky to get one of them in my lifetime, Llewellyn too.
Some brilliant pictures at Melton, actually, when you go out to relieve yourself. Unfortunately, I reckon they could be in a better spot. But, yeah, with you and Hunter Cups and that, you've got a pretty good CV to your name, that's for sure. Cambray's actually on. One of my Anton Gallinos suggested to me it was Redwood Day, and I was going to Kaikoura the next day. And he said, you got to catch up with Mark Smith when you go to New Zealand. And I said, I know Mark Smith from Shard Farms. And he goes, no, Mark Smith, who bred and broke in Lyle Creek. And the very first person, I got out of the car at Kaikoura, and I was getting changed in the car park, putting a clean shirt on, because we were late getting there. And this gentleman started talking to me, and he was Mark Smith. And I was like, wow, what are the chances of that? And Cambrai will vouch for that. It was quite eerie, actually. So, because you know how many people get to that track.
Yeah, fantastic experience for Woodland going there. And the Smith boys have, they've run the club for I don't know how many years, and And they said they always had a great breed. Their father was had some good horses. He was best mates with Jack Litton of Caduceus fame. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then he just said they bred a lot of the Creek horses, all really good horses. So they said that probably one like Laurel Creek was probably a lifetime achievement.
Above all else, too, just an absolute gentleman of a man. They all were. They were just absolutely outstanding people. Great to be around, and just I was spoilt rotten, I must say. But yeah, typical of the Kiwis actually. And I'm not saying that because I'm talking to you. I think the way they look after you is outstanding. That's something very different.
Yeah. They said they're a great family, and they said they're just real enthusiasts. They just love the harness racing game, and they devote hours and hours and hours of volunteer time just to make sure the club and the track's up to scratch when you're meeting. And they love it. And Mark, he's travelled the world. He's been to France and Europe all the time, following the Trotters. So no, it's real probably old-fashioned families and people like that.
Lyell Creek and Just Believe comparisons, and people are saying Just Believe's the best horse we've seen. I hate these sorts of comparisons because a lot of us, Murray's Idol's a horse that 90% of people now probably don't remember. Unfortunately, we start showing our age when we do. I never saw Murray's Idol race, but I know Murray's Idol. Even horses like True Roman, people forget how good horses they were. Your thoughts on Just Believe, though, Ants, and the sort of horse that he actually is?
Oh, he's just a phenomenal horse, Paul. He's done in the last couple of years is, been probably unheard of, in the last 20, 30 years from an Australian trotter, and, to go to Sweden and compete as well as he did, and really held the Aussie flag up high, and then to come back and just dominate again. So, he's the once in a lifetime horse for Greg and Jess, and probably similar to what Tim and I went through with Laurel Creek. So I'm like you don't like comparing them. You'd say that the times they're running now are faster than what Lyle used to 20 years ago. But all you can do is beat what's around. So they both got fantastic records. Both performed on the world stage, and as you said, I said to someone the other day, like Greg and I will both look back when we're in the rocking chair and say how lucky we were to be involved with two trotters like Laurel Creek and Just Believe.
Yeah, I know. I think it's a great testament too, though. I love you say about sitting back in a rocking chair. Greg and Jess, like they understand the history of it as well. Like they're saying, to be classed as a great horse like Lyell Creek, we need to win Road Cups, Dominion Handicaps, those sorts of races as well. They understand, what they've got, but they're not resting on their laurels. They sort of want to get out there and just say, yeah, he was worthy of these greatness talks, if you like.
Yeah, and that's right. There's nothing better than going overseas and winning. Like for an Australian trotter to go to New Zealand and win, it's very rare. And he's just dominating. He's just making them look second rate over there. And they're pretty good horses. They're Muscle Mountain and off the Bonavere and the like. They're no slugs. And he's just head and shoulders above them. So, they'll be getting a lot of pleasure out of that. And it's a shame, he didn't get back to Sweden this year, but, I can totally understand why they didn't go, and such a big exercise. So, they're reaping the rewards in New Zealand, and you never know, hopefully he might get back to Sweden next year.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, it's the way he's going, he doesn't look like he's going to slow down too much next year. He might, but I mean, and if he does, I don't want the people to turn around and say, oh, he's over it and all the rest. I think we just need to celebrate this horse and just be aware of what we are watching. That's what I'm encouraging people. They're going to the weanling sales. Make sure you go the next night to Alexandra Park and witness, one of the great racehorses that we're going to be able to see, a lot of people are going to be able to see for a lifetime.
Yeah, that's right. And as you said, it's so hard racing at that top level. It's hard to get a horse that just dominates, and, we don't see it too often. And when you do, you really admire them. And not only the horse, but, Greg and Jess as well, the job they've done with him. Like Greg drives him to perfection every start. And, the two of them, they have him beautifully prepared. He never goes in with a cloud over him or anything like that. So, a lot of the credit's going to go to them as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've got plenty of people watching. Tim O'Connor's watching. Matty Feast, hello to you. Where was he? Chrissy Butts watching. Don't know if you know him at all, Ants. I don't know. Last time you spoke to him, I haven't seen him for a little while. But I think I saw him on the beach. Was the last time I saw him. He almost run me over. Was the last time on a horse he was. So yeah.
Yep.
No comments from you, mate. I was talking to Derek Delaney last night. The Vincent Delaney Memorial is a race series that's coming up August 10 and 11. It is. I'm going this year. Myself and Mark Hughes are going. It's an amazing meeting, isn't it? Something that I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you'll have the time of your life, Paul. I was lucky enough to go in 2014, I think, when it was I think it was in the second or third year, and had a while of a time in Dublin, and really we probably got things going because I was supposed to go back the next year, and then I moved Aussie by then. It was right in the middle of their Breeders' Crown time, so I organised Dexter to go, and he went for the next couple of years and just took over the joint. So then I went back 2 years ago, and I was in Wales at Tia Prince.
Yep.
And again, just fantastic. And I guess, as you had said last night, I watched your interview with him, and the quality of stock has just improved so much, and we're seeing it now. They're going to America and nearly dominating, really. So they're really enthusiastic. There's not a lot of money there, prize money to race for each week, but they put their hearts and souls in it, and it's just a completely different environment and vibe. They're in it for the fun, and as I said, once the last race is run, that's when the fun really begins. So you'll have a ball.
Well, I don't drink, so Hughesy's happy. I think I got to make sure Hughesy gets home. So, am I going to Queensland with Ants for the Redcliffe? I don't know. Bernie Ring might have to get me up there for that. That'd be fun. We'll touch on that in a minute. But it is a lot of fun. Two of the things that stuck to mind, they cut up a Range Rover, for the mobile. Some blokes, and he's doing this all of his own accord, which they didn't have a mobile in England, so this guy's cutting up one for them so they got it, and he's not charging them a cent, and that's testament to what these guys actually do. The one that blew me away though, Ants, in that interview last night when he was saying to me, because I knew, so Oakwood Arden, anyone wondering, Oakwood Arden won over there over the weekend at the Meadowlands and went 1:48, fastest mile rate for the year so far in the US. So, he's a serious horse. This horse, I think he's only a 5-year-old. He's won 8 from 17 or something like that. He's a very, very good horse. But he said, it's a bit hard with his accent, but he said the week before that there was 5 horses go around. I think one was at Pocono and the other 4 went to the Meadowlands. If I've got it wrong, I'm sorry. But they had 4 winners and a second. Now, when I listened to that initially, I was thinking that's Ireland. But that was just his own stud. Like, these guys do an amazing job over in Ireland, don't they? For minimal money and all the rest. And, if that was an Australian stud, Woodlands would be, and rightfully so, singing their praises. Like, it's an amazing effort what these guys are able to do over there.
Yeah, it is, Paul. And when I was there back in 2014, I went out to a couple of the studs, and they were showing me the yearlings running around the paddock, and they were pointing out their breeding. And I actually said to them, I said, these are good or better bred yearlings in anything in Australia. They were by Rock and Roll Hanover and all the best size out of sisters of champions and daughters of champions. And, they were, it's amazing how they, they don't mind spending the money to get the good breed, and now it's paying off. But yeah, it's, it's hard to describe to people about the industry over there. And, but until you experience it, but I tell you what, they're just fantastic people, and can't do enough for you when you get there, and just make sure you have a good time. So, the trip I went to Dublin, that's one of the, greatest weeks of my life, I think.
I've got a couple of people watching on YouTube too. Graham Searle, I'll get to your comments in a minute. Sorry, I did miss him. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I must say Derek was quite funny because he was a bit hungover because he'd been to he'd watched his horses win, and then he went to a fight afterwards. So he was quite happy to sit down and talk all day because he didn't want to do anything else off the couch. So I'm sure they definitely enjoy themselves, I'd say.
Yeah, they the Irish love a drink, so I don't know how you're going to fit in, but you'll manage.
The Kiwis always say the same thing, and then they're quite happy with me by the end of the night. That doesn't worry me. I know how to drink, I just don't drink. There's a big difference. So there's a difference. Graham Searle, 2 questions. Most Victorian feature 2-year-old trots are still not programmed, and it's May. I can probably answer that one. They won't be running too many through June and July because that's the idea of moving this calendar. So they'll be towards the back end of the season, those ones, Graham. Is that right, Ants?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't
know. And then at least the feature races should be programmed in advance. And that's probably fair enough. There's there is that to be able to go forward, but there is a few challenges, other challenges outside of just being able to put pen to paper there with HRV, which I can't allude to, and I'm sure you probably can't either, Ant, but they will be looking at getting a lot of those things out in advance when they can.
Yeah, well, I think it's vitally important, especially the feature races or any semi-features. People got to prepare and plan for them. So it's just a given that they should be out 12 months ahead of schedule, within reason.
Yep, absolutely. Joey Pace has asked me if I'm packing my bags and going with you. Bernie Ring, you're going to be, when is it, the 29th? I think they said you're going to be there. For the trot rods, you're looking forward to this, mate. Going to Redcliffe, the triangle track with a difference, and going around in the trot rods.
Yeah, it'll be fun, Paul. It'll be something really different. Like I've been to Redcliffe a few times and had a bit of luck there in the past. So, but driving these one-lap races, probably had a bit of practice with it with the 1,200 metre ones at Melton. But this one's going to be 5-horse fields, I think, and 900 metres. So. Yeah, it'll be different, and but they're doing a great job up there, and I'm really excited to be part of it.
It's actually one of those things, isn't it? Because they consistently race there. We might be able to do it at one of the tracks here eventually, but that was always one of the things. The amount of money they've invested at Redcliffe to be able to do all the camera shots that they do, the drone footage, and that it doesn't come cheaply. But because they can do it at Redcliffe, leave it set up, they can do it. We might be able to do it in a year or two because we'll consistently race at Bendigo, Shepparton, Kilmore, Ballarat, one of those places. We may be able to set it up that way and bring it to a real TV sport as well here in Victoria.
Yeah, well, you just don't know where technology is going to take us in the future, Paul. And this is a big starting point, but imagine in the future where every driver's got a camera on, and the punters sitting at home, they can pick which driver they want to watch during the race. So. It mightn't be at our lifetime, but things like that will happen. And
I think you'll get.
As I said, we've got to progress. You've seen all the other sports do it, and as I said, we've got to make it fun for the young ones and different. And as I said, we've just got to keep moving forward and see what happens.
The F1s do it now. You can, like, we can't here in Australia, but if you're in England or any of those places, you just got to have a Sky Active app, and basically you can follow Oscar Pistorius around or any of the drivers around for the entire race from the driver's view. So it is doable. You would imagine it'd be a lot cheaper to do on a 1,000-metre track as to what it would be some of those, those tracks. So no, I think I agree with you. It may not happen tomorrow, but I reckon you'll be driving Ants when it'll be happening. I'm pretty sure of that.
Hopefully.
so do I. No, I'm not retiring you, mate. There's no point, no thoughts of slowing down for you.
No, I'd like to, but no, I love it. So, no, you always never know in this game. Doors around the corner or the phone rings and you get on a good one. So that's the beauty of the sport. Next door through the gate could be the one, or next phone call. So we all live in hope, and it's been great to me so far. So it's still really enjoying it.
Oh, I think it's great that you've taken this next step too, mate. I think it's, it's something that some people have to step up to do from time to time, and I'd imagine you probably encountered a few things that you're thinking, what have I done this for from time to time, but there'd be other parts that you're probably thinking, yeah, I'm glad I've done this. Yeah,
well, I've always been a strong believer, Paul, to put something back into the sport that's been so good to me, and as I said, I've always sort of had an interest in this kind of thing. I did a fair bit of it in New Zealand, so I had a bit of experience over there. So as I said, somebody's got to do it, and so I think it's important that we get the sort of higher profile people up there on these committees and working away, and hopefully we can make a difference.
Yep, definitely. I do agree with that. Muscle Mountain the other night, Ants, he's an awesome trotter, isn't he? I think a lot of the Aussies probably won't appreciate how good a trotter he actually is, because now Just Believe's beating him. But he is a unique horse. He's got a lot of issues, but he's a very, very unique horse.
Yeah, he's a great horse, Paul. Has been all the way through, but I think he has, got a few health issues at the moment. He's, a little bit, well, not in that, he's still racing really good, but he's probably not at quite as peak as he was maybe 12 months ago. So, yeah, I really thought he might have had a chance of beating the Aussies when they went out for the slot race, but wasn't the case. But, he's still hard to beat. And, so, yeah, it's we probably, Aussies haven't seen the best of him.
No. Ants, you're making me feel good, because I actually said that to a few people, and I got laughed at and they were proven right. So yeah, so I'm glad you're in agreement with me, mate. Thank you, Ants. Thank you very much. I might try and get you on a fair bit more often too, from time to time, especially when there are things coming across, especially on loose lines or talking trotters. It doesn't matter, but when incidents do come up too, just to get the message out there for people and people be able to ask questions, because that's what this platform's for. One, to promote the industry and have fun, and for me to look after my sponsors. But at the end of the day, it's also to get the messaging out there and get the right messaging out there, Ants, I suppose, because a lot of the time a lot of people will say stuff and they more or less try to say that it's right, and yet it's that far off the mark. It's not funny.
Yeah, well, it's important to be, have open communication and be transparent, and that's what I've sort of tried to apply to HRV, to be open and get their messages out there. I said, but people are very understanding, a lot more understanding than you think when they know all the facts and, why you're doing this and why you're doing that. And so I think it's important that everybody, everything gets out in the open. We talk about it, and, we won't always be right, and Hunters Racing Victoria won't always be right, but, everybody's trying hard, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So, we're working hard, and hopefully, as I said before, hopefully we can make a little difference at the end.
No, absolutely. Jamie Bartlett, hello to you, Jamie, because she's going to be at the weanling sales tomorrow for Alaba. And I'm going to catch up with you, Jamie, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening at Caracas. So we'll do an interview then. That saves me one phone call, Ant. Tony Jackson, Paul, does anyone know what's happened with Bolt for Brilliance? I think he done a pedal bone a while ago, and I don't think he's quite come back 100%. Is that right?
Yeah, he did the pedal bone over here at the end of the Minions, and he did get back racing, and then I think he had another issue. I'm not sure what it was before. He was aiming for the slot race, and obviously he had to pull out. A few weeks before. So what I heard, I don't think it's anything major, but just enough to miss sort of this campaign.
That's my understanding. He didn't break the pedal bone or anything like that again, but I think it's that same sort of area that he aggravated, and they just had to pull a pin on him, I think, is the story that I'll try and catch up with Tony Hurley. Actually, Tony Jackson, I'll catch up with Tony Hurley when I'm in New Zealand, get an update where he is. And his other horse, Double Delight, too, because she's a cracking filly as well that we forget about, the Captain Treacherous filly. So, yeah.
Yep.
They're good horses. Ants, thank you. Love leaving you hanging, mate. You had nothing then, didn't you? Would have been better if I had you on visual, because you would have been like, oh, he's left me with nothing. He didn't really ask me a question or anything, so it's good. Mate, thank you. Always enjoy catching up with you. And yeah, I think we'll do this a bit more regularly as well, especially through the winter months, and go from there. So, but yeah, really appreciate it. Sonia's watching. She's probably waiting for you to have tea, so she's probably seeing when I'm going to wind it up. So I really appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much, and yeah, keep doing the good work.
No, thanks, Paul. Anytime.
We have Anthony Butt there joining me. With some exciting things happening with the calendar going forward very shortly. So definitely looking forward to a few of those things happening as well. So so Jamie Bartlett there with the weanling sales. They will be on this Thursday. Jamie, I'll catch up with you on the tomorrow afternoon, hopefully. Yeah, which sounds scary. Ants was saying there before about being organised. I don't even know where my passport is at the minute. I've got to hopefully find it. But, Marie cleaned up. Never good for me anyway. So hopefully we can find it. Rightio, going to get Mr. Mark Hughes on as well, because with the weanling sales coming up. Plenty to cover off with Mark. So hopefully he answers.
Hollywood,
Mr. Hollywood. Remember, you got to get it right, Hughesy.
That's what it says in your passport, doesn't it? So you better find that passport, mate.
I better find it. I'm not 100% sure exactly where it is, but it'll turn up. It'll be there somewhere. Firstly, mate, thank you very much for joining me, and exciting. Basically, one day out from getting to New Zealand, and 3 days out from the weanling sales.
Yeah, look, it's rolled around since February when we were over there for the yearling sale. It's that 3 months has gone very, very quickly.
It does that and comes around quick. And there's plenty of updates as well for Woodlands. Some exciting stuff. Talking to Anthony Butt just there before, Hughesy, though, about the potential new calendar and almost regionalising the industry a bit. It's exciting for us. I mean, a lot of negative news. This is not stake money increases or anything like that, but maybe a way for us to positively move the industry forward.
Yeah, look, a lot of challenges in Victoria, as we're well aware of, over the last couple of years and going forward. But, I think we're in a position now where we've got to accept our fate, but we've got to drive forward and move forward collectively together.
Yep, I totally agree. So plenty going on. It was good for Ants to join me. 41 weanlings going through the NZB weanling sale. Is there 41 or 40? I've got a funny feeling there might be one out, is there?
Yeah, it's 41 and plus one yearling.
Okay, so they're all still in, so that's a good sign.
Also, there is one scratching. There's a speeding spur scratch, but that was scratched after the catalogue went out.
Okay, very good. So it's not counted in that 41. And they will arrive at Karaka.
They're there tomorrow.
Yep.
On Tuesday, parade Wednesday, and then sell Thursday.
Yeah, and it is quite a unique sale. Like I put a picture up there before about Karaka itself and the complex. It's so unique, isn't it? The way the whole sale works, the way the complex is beautiful, but it's the new motel, the old sale, the boxes, the stables. It's I don't know. There's so many positive signs about it.
Yeah, look, it's a historical venue, and you incorporate the modern with the new hotel.
Yep.
And the Karaka complex is world class.
Yeah, it is indeed, and it's a beautiful place with a beautiful smell and a feel to it as well. And I know people might say, it's the smell, but just the gardens and that. Nothing against the Australian ones, but they probably just don't have that history, I suppose. The old Warwick Farm, the old showgrounds, I suppose, at Sydney may have once upon a time, but that's changed now.
Yeah, look, I guess historically wise, none of the Australian complexes hold a candle to the Karaka.
No, Cambrai will be happy to hear that. He'll be like, yep, you've done the right thing for us, Hughesy. Rightio, who have we got to highlight, Marky? Is there a couple out there that you wanted to highlight? Or some updates? And I should have asked you that. I should have got some pictures up, but we'll go with it this way. It should. Don't worry, it should be right. I'll be able to wing it. Don't worry about me.
Oh, look, I think for us primarily, there's just a real mix of all our 7 boys, plus there's an Art Major there. And also down by the seaside yearling that will sell, who is quite an animal as well.
Yep.
But for me, if there's a couple of highlights there, I'd like people to have a look at Lot 92, Lather Up, out of an American Ideal. There's something about this filly. For those that want to have a look and may not necessarily need to pay a lot of money.
She's I can't actually, you're going to have help me with the pedigree, Hughesy, because I've put the photo up now. Cracking filly.
Yeah, beautiful filly. Ticks a lot of boxes. Very big overstep. Looks a lot like her father too. And 2 generations on the page.
Yep.
And we all know that American Ideal is and will be a great brood messiah.
Yep. I'll let the video play. I don't think Stacey's going to throw me for the old copyright, so I think I should be right there. But it is a beautiful filly, actually, isn't it? There, so American Grace. So that's out of the Pacing Grace family, is that right?
Yeah, that's no, it's not actually. This is a family of 2 generations on the page, but Countess Grace family, Lord Roscoe, who's done a good job, but American Rose and Miss Emily Rose family.
Yep.
Probably more the family noted for Bazam, who did a great job.
Yep. So that's one highlight. Have you got another one?
Have a good look at lot number 4 for me.
That's the first one.
First of the Sweet Loser will be put through the ring on Thursday afternoon. December Colt. Lot to like a lot about him as well. Might be one of the star favourites as well. And Sweet Out of Bed as the right man, needs no introduction there.
I think this was
the way they are going.
I could be wrong, but I reckon this was a little horse that was in with Tony Grayland. When I did the interview with Tony, there was a Sweet Lou that was as sweet a horse as there was. He was all over him in the videos. Actually, he was yeah, very, very friendly little horse. Xanadu out of that same family, Jive and Cullen. Yeah, real good family, isn't it?
Yeah, look, real good family, and the way the Lou's out of the Better's Nightmares go, it's a fairly dominant strain already. And look, Sweet Lou, another memorable weekend for him in Australia and New Zealand just gone by, particularly with his daughters.
Well, and in America, we will touch on that in a second. But yeah, lovely horse there, and Lou just continues to get through strength to strength, mate.
Yeah, quite phenomenal what he's doing in Australia and New Zealand and the North America. Actually noticed today he's only 100,000 behind Art Major on the all-age stallion listing.
Wow.
Off about 10 less crops.
So with Sweet Lou, I saw there before. We'll stick with him for the minute because Diamond Creek, of course, stands Sweet Lou over in the US. And I'm just going to get this page. I'm on the right page. I just don't know where it's gone to. 6 days ago, it wasn't then. It was over the weekend. I mustn't have gone back far enough. Just give me a sec, Hughesy. It's live TV. It's always good when I'm here. It is.
It's always good.
I had it.
I had it. And animals, mate.
I had. I'm not sure what you're saying there, but yeah. So Sweet Lou, the Stallion Series for the 3-year-old colts and geldings at Pocono Downs, Woman's Slayer by Sweet Lou. Well, they're both by Sweet Lou. War Machine as well won both their heats. And then the PA Sire Stakes for 3-year-old colts and geldings at Pocono Downs. Sweet Beach Life won, and then Solid Character ran second. So he just keeps doing it all over everywhere. But right at the minute, when the good races are starting to hot up in America, he's really starting to come to the fore.
Yeah, he is. Look, he's second on the all-age in the States. Pennsylvania Sire Stake underway, as you've just said there. He's great filly geocentric one, fresh up in her size stake on the weekend up there. She was a 2-year-old pacing filly of the year in North America. So he took out the Group 1 3-year-old size stake filly on Friday night in Auckland.
Yep.
And the Group 3 in Perth and the 2-year-old Big Racer Blood Derby Saturday night.
Yeah, so he got the job done. Seaside continues to get the job done. I don't know how many individual winners he's up to now, but he continues to get the job done week in, week out, mate.
Yeah, we Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday had another massive 4 days, particularly in Australia. I think he had 6 or 7 winners, particularly on Friday. Winners up and down the East Coast, Albion Park, Melton on Saturday night. And he's got a seriously, seriously good horse in New Zealand called Clonakilty.
Yeah, for the whites.
And he won with a bit of authority at Rangiora on the weekend. I'm trying to get that video.
Just trying to get that video up.
We've got our next 1-2 punch with our stay-ins with Lou and Seaside. They're ultimately going to replace Betters in American Ideal. Yep.
Just trying to get this video to play. Some things are quicker, some things are slower, but anyway, we'll get there. I changed all my stuff up over the weekend, as you know. That's why I couldn't get hold of Ant over the Bluetooth, because I didn't do my homework. So this horse is actually outside the leader as we speak at the minute with Sarah O'Reilly driving him. He's only had one previous start to this and he won.
Yep.
And then got the job done. Very, very stylish here. Great weekend for the Whites with American Me, of course, a son of American Ideal, getting the job done in the Roy Purdon as well. So they've had a pretty good week as well on the tools for those guys, and Sarah O'Reilly was in the cart there as well. But this horse, as you say, very, very green. You can just see him running past these horses now, and there's plenty more in store for this horse, hopefully.
Yeah, look, he just ran past a very, very expensive yearling there, that second horse of Dalgetty's. There's a lot of substance to this horse. And we've always sensed that the Seasides are going to be really good at 3 and 4. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's only had the 2 starts. Is that right? I hope so, because I'm sure.
Yeah, 2 for 2.
I reckon Diane Riley owns a share in this horse. I think that's the same one. Lady Di, as they call her. I think so. So, yeah. one of the more out there owners that we can have in the industry. So yeah, and then I think on that day, Wagstar also won. You had plenty of winners. I think I saw. Can't see. Yeah, there he is, Wagstar. Of course, by Sweet Lou, he won on the same day. I think Woodlands Stud had 4 or 5 stallions on that occasion as well.
Yeah, look, big weekend, especially for What the Hill. He's starting to cut his way through them over there, and he's a dominant sire in New Zealand now, and his oldest crop's only 4.
Yep. Yeah, Danny McKinnon's watching. There's quite a few people still watching. If you've got any questions for Hughesy, I suppose a lot of people want to know about betters. Betters to like, because there's some, unfortunately it was publicised on social media and that his health wasn't the best there for a little while.
Yeah, look, there was a bit of a setback with him at Windbank Farm. Andrew has been in the States and just recently returned, and I can report that Betters is fine, and he'll make the trip down under in August and officially retire down here.
Yep.
But obviously it is our intention to stand him next season down under. But yeah, after the events of earlier in the year with American Ideal, are all, scratching our heads a little bit, but suffice to say the King will be back in August.
Yep, and which is good news. And he is still back serving horses in America too, which is good news for everyone involved with him down there.
Yep. So, look, yeah, all 4 steps are, in his 26th year old, and we think it's his 19th shuttle trip back, we think, and his last one.
Yep, yeah, well, he's been an amazing horse, and I was fortunate enough. I was on my bucket list. It was one of those things I wanted to see him, and I was fortunate enough to see him last year, and supposed to be able to get a bit more of a look at him actually once he comes back, because he won't have to stay in quarantine either, will he? So be able to. Yeah.
No. He'll be living the life of the King in retirement, mate, which he's fully entitled to do.
Yep, absolutely. The other horse, I had it pre-planned. I had this all worded up, Hughesy. I had it ready to go. This show previously, Talking Trotters, was previously called the What the Hill Talking Trotters show. The big fella's getting the job done now, mate. He's well and truly turning a few heads. Firstly, Bet and Win. We haven't touched on him because you're away holidaying, but Dave and Stace are having a hell of a run. He's going to the Great Square, sponsored by Harasta Trotters, my other great sponsors. He'll be there in June, July, August, enjoying the sunny weather, and won again at Addington on Friday night. Just going to a whole nother level, this horse, isn't he?
Yeah, look, he's a Syrian's conveyance, and one with a bit of authority again on Friday night, and obviously on the way to Queensland in July. Everybody that stands stallion knows that there's a bit of a long game to them. What the Hill's had his critics in the short term, which we always anticipated. People are still bagging betters out, mate. But What the Hill is well and truly on the way down under now. We understand it's a bit of a patchwork quilt, the trotting side of the business. There is that much stallions in the actual game itself, but at the end of the day, for us, it's about deeds, not words, mate. And he's getting it done, and especially in North America as well.
Yeah, and then he's got this horse, Hughesy, and I'm going to flick it over to that there now. If you haven't had a chance to see this horse race here, it's called Yeah Right Dale. He's in front. I think it's a he. Might be a she, actually. I've got a funny feeling it's a she now that I've said that, with a name like Yeah Right Dale. By What the Hill. 3 starts now this horse has had for 2 wins. The horse behind is Carla Pixie is the horse's name, which is very, very close. And then the horse in the yellow, oh man, its name's just left me, Hughesy. I'm in all sorts. Corzan. It's Queen Corzan, I think is how you say it. It's actually Queen Alida's younger sister, also by
younger sister.
Yeah, by What the Hill as well. But this horse in front, Yeah Right Dale, it's a serious horse with some serious speed, and another of What the Hill's progeny. As I said, the horse in the orange out wide is also the horse behind the leader is actually by Carlton. What a great name for a team that is! But we'll stick with the show and the horse in front, and she's got a big future, this filly, I think.
Yeah, look, she's a lovely filly, one of those push-button 2-year-olds with speed and manners, and ticks a lot of boxes. So, bought out of our weanling draft 2 years ago for $8,000.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Oh, wow. It is a filly. I've got that part right. So yeah, so it's only had the 3 starts. I'll just see now how much. $8,000. So it's had 3 starts.
$8,000 out of the
starts
dream vacation mare called Go Girl Bromac.
Yep, and there's $42,000 in the bank now. So yep, and Queen Kazan also is a very, very nice horse. Tony Barron. Well, I think they've actually got the same records now. I think they both will have 3 starts now for 2 wins and a third. I think Queen Kazan's had 3 starts. Yep, 3 starts for 2 wins and a third. So and also another filly with a future as well. And yeah, Carla Pixie was at the other horse in there. So it's really exciting times. And of course, he is definitely coming back as well. What the hell?
Yeah, no, he'll be back in August and ready to go. And look, we'll announce our service fees in the next week or so. But I reckon a lot of trotting breeders will be ready to take advantage of the price we're about to announce for him.
Yep, because he keeps getting the job done and he keeps leaving good horses here, there, and everywhere as well. And yeah, and there's a little horse, Love Me Too. I don't know if he's been, I don't know where he's at just yet, if he is going up to Queensland, but if he happens to go up to Queensland, of course, the Northern Derby winner for Dylan Ferguson and Graham Rogerson, but now in the care of Chris Finozio. So he's a very, very exciting horse that made its way to the Australian shores as well, Hughesy.
Yeah, look, he's another one that you'd think would just fit right into the Australian way of racing. Well, he did the Victorian Derby as well.
He did too, yeah.
So lovely horse, mate, on about 125 grand.
Yep, yeah, very, very nice horse. Really cool dude. He's got a his full sister goes very, very good as well. Tony Hurley, he's got it. It raced last week. I won't worry too much about the fields this week. I might while I continue to talk. I don't know if there's a 2-year-old trot on or not, but I don't think so because they raced last week. So no,
don't think there is. They raced last week. There's a 3-year-old good race on Friday night.
Yeah, the Derby.
At Auckland to accompany the Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, the Derby. So yeah, Empire City for Phil Williamson and Ricky May. Brilliant filly. Keeps getting the job done. I will say that. And yeah, there's that horse in a single moment. She is there. That is it's a 3-year-old. Yeah, by What the Hill out of Monarch Eden. So yeah, 6 starts now, 2 wins and $30,000 in stake money. So yeah, there's a horse to keep an eye on as well. I did find it. I do these things usually. You know that. This is what happens when you work with me. John Wilkinson, hello to you, Johnny. So yeah, Sarah White is watching because sister to David actually. So I had Carl on earlier as well. So yeah, they keep an eye on me, that whole family now, Hughesy. I've had them on a couple of times, and I think they watch everything I say. I get a bit nervous about what I may or may not say.
You need to be careful. You have the Australians and the Kiwis all over you, mate.
Absolutely. Right, mate. Anyone wants to get in touch with you before this weanling sales, you fly out tomorrow, you do as well. But you're contactable on the phone all day from whenever. The catalogues are out. You can go to nzb.co.nz for the full sales draft, or you can go to woodlandstud.co.nz for their 41 weanlings and 1 yearling as well. So there is that option for any of those as well, mate. So yeah, we want to make sure people are aware of it. Get involved with it. It's a great sale. It's probably a bit late to get a plane ticket, but it's a great sale to be a part of, and it will be online as well.
Yeah, look, lots to look forward to the next couple of days. You can always get the midnight Jetstar flight cover. I reckon that'll be running.
Yeah, probably got a few fares.
But look, for us, exciting time, good time to catch up with the team, get through the next couple of days and look forward to the season ahead. So weanlings in tomorrow. We'll do a parade on Wednesday and we sell on Thursday. Everybody knows that we are genuine sellers. All reserves will be available probably on Thursday morning for those that want to get in touch with us. Talk to any of the team anytime. And just a little point I want to make. Last year in New Zealand and Australia, our stallions won stake money of over $38.5 million.
Wow.
So if people want to find their way to the winner's circle or get a bone out of their horse, then they should be having a long, hard look at the sires that are producing this sort of dollar output.
Yeah, it's true, and be ready early sometimes with these sales. Woodlands have been known to put them on the market at a pretty easy price, mate.
Well, we have that sale goes noon on Thursday, New Zealand time. So
10 a.m.
10 o'clock on the east coast of Australia, 8 o'clock in the west. So, everyone's got to be up and about early Thursday, sorry.
Yep, definitely. I'll get out of bed and have breakfast at about 10 o'clock and wander across. That'll work, won't it?
Yep, that's how we do it.
It's not at all. Mate, thank you. Thank you very much. Look forward. We'll be catching up a couple of times while we're over there as well, Hughesy. But make sure, as I said, get in touch with Mark Hughes, Stacey White, and also Cam Grant. Get in touch with any of those guys. Any questions you want about the horses, they can put you on to the guys that are handling them, working with them all the time. There'll be plenty of videos happening as well where people will be able to have a look at them. So make sure you get in touch with the team.
We look forward to that. And just one thing before I go, a couple of great interview with Derek last night.
Forgot about that. You're going as well, aren't you?
He's a rock star, Derek, and his family.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I forgot Kim Butt's going across there for the lady drivers. I forgot to mention that with Ants as well. So he'd be he'd be pretty proud of that actually. So there's the first of the lady drivers races. So it's race over 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. Heats on the Saturday, finals on the Sunday. But I think Derek said last night 7 Group 1. So going to be something really, really unique, Hughesy. We're going to have a bit of fun, and I'll be bringing back as much of it. I'll be sending back as much on Campbell's comments as we can. That's for sure. Showing them as much of the colour and what it's all about. Hopefully, get more people out there.
It's something to look forward to. Counting the days.
No, very, very good, Hughesy. Thank you very much, my friend.
Right, Cover. I'll see you in Auckland.
Well, indeed. There we have Mark Hughes joining me from Bendigo, from Melbourne, sorry, but he'll be across there very shortly to the with the weanling sales as well. We both head across tomorrow, so looking forward to that part. I got my daughter asking me what I would like for tea, and I'm just going to Russian roulette, see what happens. Never know what I'll get. Probably won't get what I want, but that's okay. So, yep. Rightio. That is Talking Trotters and On Loose Lines for 1 week. Don't forget, for this week, do not forget that the NZB weanling sale starts on Thursday, 12 noon, New Zealand time, 10 o'clock Australian time. Get in touch with the whole team there, the Cracker Sales Complex. Go to NZB Standardbred.co.nz. My great friends at Barrastock, of course, continuing to feed champions. Of course, horses like Just Believe fed on Barrastock. Harassed Trotters, breeders of Just Believe, champions as well. So make sure you look after them. Exciting news coming. There's a few little teasers starting to come out. Louise Toolman was on a bit earlier. A few little teasers going to come out very, very shortly. Just had the Woodlands Stud weanlings. And do not forget the Winter Woolies online sale is live now. Actually, can go to that, I think. Might be this one. We might go back to that one there. We will hit that button there and that one, and then basically click here, direct link. Don't want to make my Chrome faster just at the minute. I probably should have, because it just went into meltdown. All horses are listed there. Tilly Time is Tilly Time NZ is a 2023 filly, so the opportunity of purchasing a weanling there right through, and I am going to do this because Alex Hurley comes on quite a lot. Lot number 200 is Sierra Gem, which is an El Sue at a nuclear accelerator broodmare, 15 years of age, being sold on behalf of Alex Hurley and that beautiful family, Almost El Eagle. Fake left and second dam, so it's a cracking family there. Get the whole breeding history as well on those horses, so make sure you go to nutrienequine.com.au for all of the, I've got to hit one other button, that's the button I've got to hit, all the details there to go for that. We will be going on, of course it sells June 3 to 6, sorry, getting asked if I'm live, and the answer is yeah. Oh, serious? Okay. Anyway, looks like Bendigo trials have just been cancelled because they've got no lights. So that's an interesting one. I'm sure a few people from HRV who were on earlier will be watching that and with a lot of interest. But yeah, a bit frustrating. So Sorry for everyone that's been out there, but yep, another little thing. Right out. That is Talking Trotters and On Loose Lines for this week. But I will be live next this Wednesday coming 9 o'clock. I think I said to Canberra, we'll go live from 9 New Zealand time, which will be 7 o'clock back here. Get involved. We'll get a couple of people on. Might get Jamie, might get Mark Hughes, get a couple other people to come on as well. Have a little bit of fun, but also promote the fact that the weanling sale is on at the beautiful Karaka Complex. Thank you very much to everyone that is tuned in and been a part of the show. I really do appreciate it. I do appreciate people getting involved, especially via the comments, because that continues to grow it. If you're on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe, and go from there as well. Trying to keep growing that. Hopefully one day I'll get it there, but it is a slow burn for me at the minute. But yeah, thank you to everyone that's tuned in, and I really look forward to catching up with you all next week. Next Monday night, Talking Trotters will be back on. But yep, for the rest of the week, stay safe, and we'll be covering plenty of New Zealand. So I'll see you from there on the video screen. Bye.